A historic venue, modern racing. This is Aquacross. Hello and welcome to Scarborough for the opening battles in the 2015 Aquacross Championship. The South Bay just behind me here may well be one of Yorkshire's historic spa destinations, but for over 40 of the country's top jet ski racers, this weekend is going to be anything but a relaxing break. They will be competing in 3 rounds of endurance racing, using their brains and brawn to power up to 300 horsepower over the waves. Georgie Barrett is down in the pits with some of the info that you're going to need to know.
The racing this weekend will feature 3 classes, the 200s, the 250s and the 300 horsepower big guns, with the skis reaching up to 70 miles per hour on the water. Now, all 3 classes will be racing at the same time, which means there will be over 40 races roaring off the start line side by side, which is just awesome. To help you spot who's who, you just need to look at the colour of the race bibs. We have red for the 200s, black for the 250s, and white for the 300s. So those are the coloured bibs. So let's see if I can go and find some of the racers who will be wearing them. And it looks like I'm just about to catch Phil Pope before he goes into the water. Phil, you're just about to race the first race of 2015, reigning champion of the 300 class last year. Are you in it to win it again?
Oh yeah, for sure. I wouldn't be here if I wasn't, so...
Now you do have more competition this year because Russell is back. Do you see him as a threat?
Yeah, I think anyone riding the Kawasaki this weekend's a threat. The conditions suit the Kawasaki and Russell's probably one of the best on a Kawasaki.
And on jet ski number 666, we have Russell Marmon. Russell, welcome back, because you weren't here last year, were you?
No, I took a year out from racing and got married to my racing partner Aisha, so we race in the actual same class now.
Now Russell, you have been champion of the 300 class previously. Yeah. Phil Pope took the title last year. Is he your man to beat this year?
To be honest with you, the quality of the riders has definitely gone up over the last couple of years, so I think it's not just Phil, you know, who's going to be a rival. There's probably going to be a good half a dozen riders who are going to really excel.
Well done, congratulations on winning the 250 championship last year. Are you pumped and psyched for 2015?
I am, yeah. There's a lot more guys on the grid for the 250 class as well, so there's going to be a bit more competition there as well. Last year it was on the FZR, I got the grip with it last year. The year before I really struggled with it. I only come off once last year, which was really nice. And that was in the very first race, and after that I just knuckled down and got the grips with it. So this year I'm really fit and ready to go.
So we've got Damien Evans over here, former champion of the 200 class. Damien, can we get a quick word with you?
No problem.
You're moving up a class this year, aren't you?
Yeah, the big boys class and the 250 class, yeah.
Are you excited about the step up in horsepower?
Yeah, a little bit. It should be pretty interesting. There's some tough competition.
What have you done to prepare yourself for the faster jet ski?
No, a bit of training on it. It's a new craft. It's only got 5-6 hours on it, so I'm still relatively new to it.
Well, as you can see, the spectators have flocked here, young and old, to see the action, which is happening just offshore here in South Bay. So let's take a closer look now then at the course that the riders will be tackling for each of the 30-minute races. So that's the course that the riders will be tackling, and down here on the sand it looks as though we're getting about set and ready to go. So let's go and join your race commentator, Dave Moore.
And away they go as the UK Aquacross Series for 2015 bursts into life. That is Nick Thompson at 7 foot tall, the biggest of the 30 riders out there, on board with the reigning 250 class champion Duncan Johnston as they head around the first turn buoy. It's Tim Batt with Phil Pope at the inside and Russell Marmon at the back going wide, but into the straight it's Nick Thompson powering into the lead and opening up a good gap out front. Thompson on the inside lane as the battle for second is heating up between Batt and Pope. Looking strong on the Yamaha, his first-time racer Nigel Chappell. Pope and Batt have both passed Thompson, and it looks like Russell Marmon is going into third. Perhaps he's been practicing those turns. On board the Yamaha of Dave Lee as he catches a bit of spray. This is Pope and Batt battling for the lead, and it's back and forth between these two. It's a real tussle between this pair. They're giving it all they've got. Ultra competitive in this clash, which involves the defending champion. Back on board with Dave Lee as we look at Scarborough through the spray. Meanwhile, Phil Pope has pulled away from Batt. Pope showing the form which took him to last year's 300 title. This is Duncan Johnston on his Yamaha with a sweet move around the buoy. The perfect line. 35 is Dave Lee as Pope begins to edge closer and overtakes the leading 200 rider. Meantime, Duncan Johnston is now finding it rough going, struggling to find the drive. Chris Leach heads around the turn buoy. He is back from the States after representing the Brits in the US Aquacross season opener in Daytona. Back on board and looking behind as we ride with Dave Lee as he makes the turn. And drama out front as the race leader comes to a stop. Phil Pope frantically trying to fire life back into his engine. And he's away again. Here is 250 class leader Adrian Wilson with a faultless performance so far. Whatever issue Phil Pope has had, it seems to be solved. He's running as if nothing ever happened, and there's no stopping him as he takes the checkered flag and wins the first race of the Dale Power Solutions P1 Scarborough Grand Prix of the Sea. And here are the results from race one in the 300 class. Phil Pope and his Yamaha lead the way, followed by Chris Leach and Joe Harvey. The Kawasaki's of Russell Marmon and Tim Batt take fourth and fifth respectively. In the 200s, Dave Lee picks up the win on his Yamaha, while in the 250s, Adrian Wilson pits Richard Rowe to claim all 20 points. As we head out for race two, the riders make their way to the start line. There's the green flag, away we go. It's Russell Marmon out in the lead. But the pack are hard on his heels, with Phil Pope leading the charge around the first turn buoy. Riding with Duncan Johnston, the 250 champ, who's trying to make up after a rough first race. That's Phil Pope carving around the boys, and he's now leading the 300s. There's no let-up from this man after a great first race, but Marmon is hot on his pump. It is shaping up to be a real scrap between these two throughout the season. Marmon is keeping Pope honest and is not letting him out of sight. Marmon is back in the series after a short break and seems to be finding a good rhythm again. Pope is taking no prisoners as he passes 4.32. That's rookie rider Wayne Lucas from Wales. The stamina needed to maintain this pace throughout an entire moto is phenomenal, and you can see him go harder and getting stronger. Back with the 200s. It's clear water for Dave Lee. There's Tim Batt lying in third. Another strong showing from one of the series top runners. The leader in 250s is Adrian Wilson on his Sea-Doo Wake. He's looked comfortable so far as he makes a pass on the only lady racer, Aisha Rensink. Number 64, Joe Harvey, taking a look around. Still standing up, that means he's going strong. When the riders start to sit down, it means fatigue is beginning to kick in. And going full throttle for 30 minutes is hard work. Marmon is still on Pope's case. Any mistake from the race leader and the former champ will be right in there. Timbat is there again, currently sitting in third. Here is Phil Pope as he heads to the finish line and takes the checkered flag. That's 2 out of 2. Phil Pope takes the 20 points for finishing first. Behind him is Russell Marmon, closely followed by Timbat. Another good outing by Joe Harvey sees him finish fourth. Dave Lee picks up a second straight win in 200, fending off Lewis Royal and Nigel Chappell, while in 250s, Adrian Wilson does it again and claims maximum points.
Well, that's it for day one here in Scarborough, and great racing as always in the Aquacross Championship. All of the usual suspects proving to be fully in the mix once again. Join us for day two when we come back. So welcome back to day two here in Scarborough, where the Aquacross races are getting set to go once again. And Georgie, you spent most of your day down here on the sand yesterday, and boy, what a day we had.
It was incredible, Kev, it really was. Have to say, the sun isn't as out today. It could be raining later on, but still the atmosphere is great, and we're very much looking forward to the last race.
Yeah, I was about to say, obviously you had your sunnies on yesterday, and I've got my wet weathers on just in case. Quite flat, calm out there, but let's talk about the action. The one that we were hoping to see yesterday in the 300s, Phil Pope and Russell Marmon.
They did not let us down. Yes, Phil Pope did take the win for both races, but on the second race of the day, Russell really held up at the front with him. Incredible race, been really exciting, and can't wait to see them back out there today.
And of course, there's one race today. They had two yesterday, so I'm sure there's probably going to be a few tired arms and legs in the pack, but Phil Pope and Russell, those guys are fit, and they'll be ready to go for this one.
Absolutely, and because the weather is a little bit temperamental at the moment, it could get rougher out there, which is actually what they're all hankering for.
What about the atmosphere down here on the sand yesterday? Because for some of these guys and the families and the kids who came to watch, they won't have seen anything like this on the Scarborough sand before.
No, not at all. Well, this is the first time that Aquacross have been in Scarborough, and the atmosphere yesterday was incredible. The sun was shining, the crowds were incredibly excited, and it was really, really great to be part of.
Lovely, thanks Georgie. Well, that's what we're thinking at this point in time right now, but let's hear from some of the riders who Georgie caught up with earlier.
Phil, you did incredibly well yesterday, winning both races. Are you feeling confident today with the change of conditions?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I've got to be confident, else I'm going to be at the back, you know, so yeah, I'm confident.
And it has calmed down a little bit, but earlier it was quite wet and windy. You want that, don't you?
Yeah, I actually want the wind, but the wind's picking up, but the tide don't seem to be moving. It's still calm out there, so I think it's still anybody's.
Dave, how did you go yesterday?
Oh, absolutely brilliant. I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better result. I got first in the first race for my class and a first in the second race for my class.
Huge congratulations. How are you feeling about it today? Are your legs okay? First race of the season, you sort of prepped and ready to go?
Yeah, looking forward to it. We can give it all because we only got one race today, so we haven't got to worry about a second race. So we can put it all into this one, and hopefully I'll get the same result.
Getting a ski prepped and keeping it running for 3 40-minute races is vital in order for them to be at the top of their game. Earlier on, I caught up with Timbat, who took me through the most vital checks. Tim, what sort of checks do you have to do before you go out on the water?
Mainly you'll be checking your oil level, which is quite important. You know, you don't want to run out of oil. Hose clamps, because they're a supercharged engine, so you want to check all your hoses from the intercooler and the supercharger. You know, you don't want to be losing boost pressure because you know it makes a big difference. So just general things like that. Checking for water in the hull. You know, you don't want water in the hull because you get water on the supercharger belt and the belt can slip. So it really is quite simple. You wouldn't be doing spark plugs, anything like that. You know, you'd sort of do that before the race weekend anyway. Same as your oil, you'd put fresh oil in, fresh filter. But you know, they do use oil, so that to be fair is probably the biggest thing. Handlebars, you know, check everything's tight because they do get a lot of abuse. So you'll be checking that handlebars are tight. You know, you don't want to be sort of breaking your bars or coming over the front of the ski. If you have a breakdown, it's pretty hard to get them sorted out over the weekend. You need an engine hoist and things like that to pull the motor out. There's not a lot of work you can do without taking the engine out of the boat. So yeah, that's it really.
Now, normally at this point in the show, we might take a look at some stunts being done by freestyle supremo Jack Mull. He's currently plying his trade, though, on the Gold Coast of Australia. Can't think what the lure was there, can you? But in the meantime, check out these guys. We've got world champion Lee Stone and national champion Jason Bleasdale.
The third and final race of the Dale Power Solutions Scarborough Grand Prix of the Sea gets underway. On board the Yamaha of Dave Lee, who looks to have made a great start. In the 300s, it looks like Pope is up front, but he's not getting things all his own way in these early stages as Marmon muscles his way past as they head towards the Turnbuoy. Around the first turn, it's Pope fighting back. He has the inside line, Marmon on the outside. On board with Dave Lee, and you can see how the conditions have changed overnight, but the water still looking reasonably flat. Pope makes his way around the red turn marker, fending off the challenge of the experienced Russell Marmon, who's doing all he can to make up ground. It's such a difficult task when you have someone like Pope out in front giving it his all. It's the final race, and you see the physical effort he's putting into riding. The 250 leader Adrian Wilson getting blinded by the spray. It's important to quickly regain focus and get back on track when that happens. A nice sharp turn by Phil Pope, who is the Leica Mobile World number 2. And that's Adrian Wilson causing a few ripples. Marmon in hot pursuit, but he doesn't seem to be closing the gap. However, after a year away from Aquacross, Marmon hasn't skipped a beat. No ring rust at all for the former champ. Joe Harvey tearing through the course and blitzes past Wayne Lucas. Last year, like Lucas, he was a rookie, and now he's challenging for a place on the podium. Great battle involving Nick Thompson, who broke his leg during the off-season, and Steve Hockley, who's moved up from the 250 class with his new Kawasaki 310 Ultra. Duncan Johnston is riding a lot better than he did yesterday. The rougher conditions suit the 250 champ. But the leader in his class is Adrian Wilson. He's hunting for a hat-trick of wins in Scarborough. Back with the leader in the 300 class, Phil Pope. In the prime of his racing career, and based on his showing today, you have to have him down as the favourite for the overall championship. And the same can be said for Adrian Wilson, who's been equally as dominant in the 250 class. He was unsure of what category he'd be racing in this year, but it looks like he's made the right choice. '92, Richard Cable has been struggling with mechanical problems, but looks like he's back up and running again. Here's Joe Harvey grinding away. He's improved hugely. Very impressive performance. And as we approach the finish line, Phil Pope checks behind him to make sure he's in the clear. And there's the checkered flag. Phil Pope sits pretty at the top of the table in race 3, while Russell Marmon and Tim Batt finish 2nd and 3rd respectively. Joe Harvey and Chris Leach find themselves in the middle of the pack. It's a familiar story in the 200 class. Dave Lee makes it 3 out of 3. And in the 250s, Adrian Wilson dominates the race once again to ensure a clean sweep for his Sea-Doo wake. In the points, Dave Lee leads the way in 200. In the 250 class, Adrian Wilson reigns supreme. And in 300, Phil Pope is proving unbeatable.
A huge congratulations. How's it gone for you this weekend?
Perfect weekend. 2 good wins yesterday. Arsenal winning the FA Cup. and then obviously the win today. So yeah, perfect.
Next stop is Gosport for you. Are you going to do any preparation? Is anything going to change between now and then?
The boat won't change. Obviously, we're up to our limits. So, but yeah, we'll go away. We'll train harder. Russell seems to be getting close to me now, which I don't like. So obviously, I've got to step the game up a little.
Not only have you won a pineapple today, you've also won the 250s. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Georgie. It's been a cracking day.
Have you enjoyed the whole weekend?
The whole weekend's been fantastic. It's been a little bit of hard work because not used to some of the riders that we've got, so but certainly pushed it, and the rest of them trying to keep up.
Well, a huge congratulations. Have you enjoyed this weekend?
Oh, it's been lovely, and the weather has been great. In the end, the forecast wasn't as predicted. We didn't get the rain, we didn't get the surf that everybody said we were going to get. So, I mean, 3 wins for me. Oh, it's great.
So there we go, the opening round of the 2015 Aquacross Championship. It's come to an end, and it was a brilliant weekend, wasn't it, Georgie?
Really lovely weekend. First weekend here in Scarborough, and it's been delightful across the board. Incredibly exciting as well.
Yeah, and congratulations to Dave Lee topping the 200s there. Local Yorkshireman Adrian Wilson taking the 250s. And what about the 300 big guns?
Well, Phil Foam, of course, won across the board all weekend. He's done incredibly well. He took the championship last year, so he's definitely the one to beat this year.
Yeah, he's set off on the right foot. Join myself, Kev and Georgie next time out for Aquacross when we head to Gosport. See you there.